Coming up on Network Africa, MCU party supporters accompany Central African President Touadéra to the National Elections Authority as he launches a third-term bid. Anti-government protesters in Madagascar declare strategic pause as Germany, France, Britain, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland and the European Union delegation call for peaceful dialogue. Sudan army claims Colombian, Ukrainian mercenaries killed in Darfur as UN Human Rights Office estimates at least 91 civilians killed. Welcome everyone, I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in the Central African Republic where thousands of supporters of the MCU party gathered in Bangui on Thursday to accompany President Faustin Touadéra to the National Elections Authority. Mr. Touadéra was the first to submit his candidacy for the presidential and legislative elections scheduled to take place in the CAR on December 28. The mobilization was a strong show-off that the outgoing president hopes will be confirmed at the polls. Meanwhile, after strongly criticizing Mr. Touadéra's intention to seek a third term, the opposition united in a popular bloc continues to demand dialogue, which they say is required to ensure the election is properly organized. Well, thousands of people in Madagascar have taken to the streets in different parts of the country in a large swathe of protests in the past week over allegations of misgovernance and crippling utility outages. International diplomats have intensified calls for a peaceful dialogue to resolve the political crisis, with the anti-government protesters declaring a strategic pause of the youth-led demonstrations. The embassies of Germany, France, Britain, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland and the European Union delegation issued a joint statement appealing to all parties involved. This comes after President Andry Rajoelina dissolved his government on Monday in a bid to quell the unrest, which has left at least 22 people dead and more than 100 others injured, according to UN figures, which the government has dismissed. The Gen Z movement, spearheading the protests, announced the 24-hour strategic withdrawal in the capital to protect the health and strength of its participants, marking the first break in daily protests since they began on September 25. The group clarified that this pause did not signal an end to its campaign. And the Sudanese Armed Forces says it has eliminated several foreign fighters, including Colombians and Ukrainians, fighting with the Rapid Support Forces in the besieged Darfur city of El Fasher. In a statement from the Army's 6th Infantry Division, the fatalities occurred during a special operation in El Karama Square, where the foreign fighters attempted to infiltrate parts of the city, especially high-rise residential buildings. According to the army, among those killed were drone engineers and snipers. El Fasher is one of the last major cities in Darfur not under RSF control. The conflict between SAF and RSF has escalated in recent weeks, worsening the humanitarian crisis in and around the city. Civilians remain trapped, aid is limited, and thousands of people in displacement shelters are said to urgently need food and medicine. These claims have not been independently verified. Both the RSF and foreign governments alleged to be involved have not made immediate responses either. Meanwhile, as hostilities intensify in El Fasher, civilians continue to bear the brunt of indiscriminate and targeted attacks, according to the UN Human Rights Office. The peacekeeping mission estimates that at least 91 civilians were killed in RSF artillery shelling, drone strikes and ground incursions between September 19 and 29. The following statement was recorded by UN Human Rights spokesperson Saif Magango in Nairobi, Kenya.
High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, is today calling for urgent action to prevent large-scale, ethnically driven attacks and atrocities in El Fasher as the Rapid Support Forces intensify efforts to take control of Sudan's North Darfur state. After more than 500 days of an unrelenting siege by the RSF, the besieged city is on the precipice of an even greater catastrophe. If urgent measures are not taken to loosen the armed vice on the city, and to protect civilians. Recent reports indicate that the RSF is pre-positioning long-range drones in South Darfur. This raises grave concerns of the possibility of a further intensification of hostilities in the coming days. Safe and voluntary passage of civilians must be ensured out of El Fasher, as well as throughout their movement on key exit routes and checkpoints controlled by different armed actors. All parties and member states with direct influence on events on the ground must take urgent measures to prevent atrocity crimes. And the parties to the conflict must allow humanitarian aid into the city.
The son of Zimbabwe's late former President Robert Mugabe has been arrested and charged with drug possession in a Harare court. Robert Mugabe Jr. was arrested on Wednesday morning as he drove against traffic down a one-way street. Police searched a black sling bag he was wearing at the time and allegedly found 2 small sachets of cannabis. 5 people in a syndicate linked to him have also been arrested. Elsewhere, the 2025 Africa Energy Week is underway in Cape Town, South Africa, with opening day discussions focusing on the need to accelerate oil and gas exploration. Delegates at the conference argue that Africa has the potential to harness these resources and is on the brink of reshaping the global energy landscape through natural gas. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samusa, spoke with civil society groups who are advocating for a people-centered just energy transition. Here's more.
I think that's the fallacy that has been shared by the global north in terms of our readiness. As we speak on the continent, 600 million people do not have access to electricity. So we're starting from the point where most of the continent has got no access to electricity. Our transition is from 0 to actually 100% renewable energy. That's the first opportunity. And around the readiness to move away from coal, the fact of the matter is coal is killing a lot of communities in a lot of ways where we have sacrifice zones. So we have the opportunity in this just energy transition to move away from coal.
But why can't we gradually move away? Because if you're saying that we can just do away with coal, you know how many people are employed under coal? There are a lot of people who are employed. And at the moment, we're still trying to put together pathways for clean coal technologies that they can be rolled out in the country. Wouldn't you agree with me that it's quite early to say that we can just do away and then focus on clean energy? We all say we want to go to clean energy, but we can't just do away with coal. Don't you agree?
So I often think that the misunderstanding when we talk about a just energy transition is that it will happen overnight. We don't anticipate it to happen overnight. We actually work within our grouping with mining affected communities and workers. We work and engage with different unions like SAFTU and the lot who focus on jobs. And so I think a big thing that we need to understand is that right now, according to the Presidential Climate Commission's Just Energy Transition Framework, they are talking about the fact that from this year, we will start gradually seeing the decrease in jobs within the coal sector and the coal value chain because coal is a finite source. We're going to be seeing an influx and a build-up towards the renewable energy sector, towards the agricultural sector.
Why the rush? Europe is still using coal. I mean, they're still exporting coal. Why are we rushing?
So this is not a rush. This is about preparing ourselves for the future. We are already behind. We act as if we're one of the most developed continents in the world. We are not, because the nature of the exploitation that was done on the continent was for us to be at the bottom of the barrel, and that includes the coal industry. We're not positioning ourselves for the future. So the rush is to prepare ourselves for the future economy. We do not want to be, again, a laggard when we speak to economic development. And to the point as to the necessity to move away from coal, it's coming from the just angle to say that moving away from coal into renewable energy does not leave people behind, henceforth the justice. What was also happening with the transition when we speak about renewable energy, when they're not just, we actually leave those people in the coal mines. And in 20 years, as has happened in the global north, in some coal towns, they're now just told that the coal mine is closing.
In the meantime, South Africa has invited Nigeria to host a G20 event in Abuja. The invitation was extended by the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, to his Nigerian counterpart as part of preparations for the G20 Leaders Summit scheduled for November in Johannesburg. Speaking to our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, Nigeria's High Commissioner to South Africa, Alexander Ajayi, says the gesture reflects a deepening cooperation between Africa's 2 largest economies.
quite significant for us. You know, I want to start from the point that when my president was here last year, it's one of the cardinal message he, dropped with his counterpart, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, that he wants to see Nigeria join South Africa in the G20. You know, as a continent, if you look at continent of Africa, you will know that it's more like what we call a settled matter that we should have more than one country in the G20. You understand? Because look at the size of the continent, you look at the size of the economy of some of the countries in the continent. You pick South Africa and Nigeria. We are the two leading economies in the continent. So it's a vision from my president that I want to see Nigeria in the G20, and that is why the mission took it from that point and work hard in order to put that event in Nigeria, which will be coming up between the 22nd and 23rd October in Abuja, which is high-level G20 meeting on industrialization and agriculture. For us, we serve as one important event to signpost Nigeria as a potential G20 member, you know, to put it out there that we are prepared, we are ready. You recall that sometimes this year we rebase our economy. Nigerian economy was rebased, which now made it more larger than what it was previously. At least from the statistics that Nigerian economy is now 30% larger than what it was in. So that is a success story for us to take to the G20. And when you also talk of authentic African voices in the G20, you know, you can't cut Nigeria, aside.
Amid Ghana's deportation agreement with the United States, President John Mahama has reasserted that his country's sovereignty and security will not be compromised under the deal. He added that the agreement with the United States is limited, carefully vetted, and aligned with ECOWAS protocol, stressing that no financial considerations were involved in the deal. The president also noted that Ghana became the only country to successfully achieve a full reversal of U.S. visa restrictions imposed under the Trump administration. Ghana has become the latest African country to accept deported individuals from the United States as part of its campaign against undocumented migrants, joining countries such as Rwanda, Eswatini, and South Sudan.
It's an issue that has been of public interest in recent times. Many of you are aware that Ghana became the only country subject to U.S. visa restrictions to secure a complete reversal from the Trump administration. Let me state clearly that this outcome was negotiated in Ghana's best interest. And one of the key points in our negotiation with the U.S. authorities was our agreement to address the issue of overstayers who travel on student visas and others who travel as part of official government delegations. I mean, these are people who go and instead of coming back, they decide to stay. And so they have the record. So when they draw the threshold and you're above it, then they cancel your 5-year visas and bring you to B5, B3. So we give assurances that we'll work with them to make sure that our people are not overstaying. So those of you applying for visas, please, when you go, come back, because you affect everybody else. And let me also emphasize that there was no financial consideration as part of the understanding between Ghana and the United States. I also wish to inform you that negotiations are ongoing with regards to the trade tariffs of 15% and the renewal of AGOA, which was a 0% tariff on African nations. And so those negotiations are still ongoing. I wish to assure my countrymen and women that our understanding with the U.S. does not undermine our sovereignty, security, or stability. Ghana will not, and I repeat, will not become a dumping ground for deportees, nor will we accept individuals with criminal backgrounds.
Still ahead on our Africa Tech segment. Tech Up Boys project empowers young boys with digital skills. Details soon. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Lagos State government has called for stronger collaborations among state emergency management agencies to enhance Nigeria's preparedness and response to disasters. The state deputy governor, Kadri Hamzat, made the call at the maiden National State Emergency Management Agency conference in Ikeja. Mr. Hamzat says resilience at the national level depended on how prepared state-level agencies are to manage emergencies.
National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
It's the first Emergency Management Agency conference hosted in Lagos State by the State Emergency Management Agency to address issues of safety and deliberate on robust national emergency response strategies that will tackle disasters across the country.
Thank you all for the honor of having you.
The Lagos State Deputy Governor, Kadri Hamzat, joins emergency management agencies from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, as well as private sector players and frontline responders at their meeting in Ikeja, with a determination to strengthen Nigeria's resilience in the face of emergencies.
For too long, disaster management in our nation was driven by reactions and events will occur. Lives and property will be lost, and only then we will mobilize. That era must end. Today, through this conference, we are boldly declaring a new chapter where we move from one reactions to readiness and from recovery to resilience.
A country faced with issues of flooding, building collapses, fire incidents, what better time than now to hold the 2025 National SEMA Conference, a gathering the NEMA DG believes will provide a wider roadmap for emergency management.
These challenges demand not just a federal response, but a coordinated national system where state agencies, local authorities, development partners, and the private sector stand together as one.
Other speakers at the event call for a collective action from all states for a safer and more resilient nation.
Advancements in technology present significant opportunities for states to leapfrog traditional bottlenecks. Real-time digital dashboards can link ambulance dispatch, hospital bed capacities, and incident reporting, thereby enabling faster triage and resource allocation. Policy, legal, and revenue reforms. These play a very vital role in enabling effective emergency management by providing a framework for preparedness, response, and recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Addressing the audience, the Lagos State Deputy Governor, Kadri Hamzat, highlights the fact that the state faces huge public emergencies, but as a government, funding the emergency response agencies is top priority to ensure that lives and properties are secured when the need arises.
Lagos State is building a smart city architecture. So today we build about 650 cameras. The essence is to get to 3,000. So what that does is somebody calls, say, from Oshodi. The cameras around there can be zoomed in and they can see the incident live.
This inaugural safety conference is expected to proffer solutions and help shaping policy roadmaps for all 36 states in handling emergencies, with other states advised to embrace modern technology, just as Lagos State in addressing disasters. Education is often described as the backbone of a developing society, and strengthening the capacity of educators is key to ensuring better student outcomes and overall society progress. This was the focus at the British Council office in Lagos, where African Mission Global signed a memorandum of understanding with the British Council to roll out a structured digital teaching training program. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Amrachi Vani, reports.
The UN's SDG Goal 4.7 aims to ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong learning for all, and says that educators are vital in achieving this. Based on this, African Missions Global, a not-for-profit organization, and innovation of wife of the General Overseer of the RCCG, Pastor Folu Adeboye, is scaling its impact in Nigeria's education sector by providing a structured digital training program for school teachers and teachers within its education network.
Thank you for joining us today.
This it is doing in partnership with the British Council, which has for decades supported the education system in Nigeria and trained over 30,000 teachers in the country.
We have trained around 30,000 teachers, and that it's really important for us, given the work that we do. But what's more important is the wider impact that this has. As I say, it's not just a one-off investment. What we do is invest in communities of practice and the support for the wider ecosystem.
Piloting the program is 40 teachers drawn from various schools already within the AMG's network in Lagos. It plans to scale up to 1 million people by the year 2027. Chairman of AMG's Board of Trustees, Pastor Brown Oyiso, speaks on the provisions under the partnership.
This alliance with the British Council is not just symbolic, it's deeply strategic. It brings together AMG's grassroots presence across communities and the British Council's global expertise in education and capacity development.
The pilot training the first will be 3 months. The first level will be 3 months. There's a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. And so the first level will be 3 months, and those who are successful in the first level will then move on to the second level and hopefully to the third level. Yeah.
Founded in July of 1996, African Missions Global is passionate about lives. It exists for service to God and humanity, and over the last decade has been involved in various projects for education by building schools, adopting schools, awarding scholarships, as well as leadership trainings. Its influence reaches beyond Nigeria, with more locations in its sites. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
When we talk about empowerment, oftentimes the focus tilts heavily towards the girl child. But this time, the spotlight is on the boys. For 8 weeks, young boys from public secondary schools across Lagos participated in the Tech Up Boys Boot Camp, an intensive program designed to equip them with future-ready digital skills.
Those who are sitting in the middle, make sure everyone has done it.
For 8 weeks, the spotlight shines on the boy child, helping them uncover their hidden potentials and preparing them for a tech-driven future. More than 5,000 boys from public secondary schools across Lagos, a project of the Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center in partnership with the Lenter Foundation. The boys go through an intensive training in digital skills, aligning them with the needs of the 21st century. This is all in a bid to empower the young males to become creators and innovators.
There's a hot demand in terms of ensuring that the boy child is empowered, learn the relevant skills that can change the trajectory of their lives. And why? What we are doing is, Lento on its own is a tech organization that trains people in tech. But the foundation needed to bridge the gap and empower the community and get boys to develop tech skills that can make them competitive.
This is just like a crash program. Ideally, it should have taken us about a whole week. And what we've done really is the basics, the intro. We've only just done the intro, introduced them to basic tech skills and other soft skills. Of course, they say a lot of journey. We're going to group them, move them into a WhatsApp group, some into Telegram, where we'll continue the mentoring and the teaching. And we're very certain that before the end of this year, we'll have been able to train 5,000 boys who are comfortably working with digital and tech skills.
The training combines technical learning with leadership, emotional intelligence, and life readiness, preparing the boys not just for jobs, but for the real world.
I've learned how to utilize Excel in my daily life because we don't spend wisely in Nigeria. So using Excel now will help navigate through your spending. And also I've learned about digital footprint. I've learned that whatever you throw online will definitely come back to you. So you must ensure that you have a good digital footprint, be able to get jobs and works online.
First, I've gained the importance of keeping a good social media footprint, how to expose myself to the world in a positive way. Also, I've been taught the introduction to Excel. It's an app where people such as data analysts, data scientists, and also mathematicians work. And also we taught emotional intelligence, how to cope with people around. And to talk with these kids, we are taught LinkedIn optimization. So LinkedIn is a platform where it's a job connect platform where we show people what you do and what you have done so far.
I'm really happy that I had this opportunity to learn Excel, most especially, because imagine how you just go out, spend lavishly, you just give, and most times you don't count. You spend in the way that you don't even remember what you spend. But with Excel, you can monitor every of your income, savings, and sales out there. And also, I'm happy to say that I can go out there, help my mom, my parents, my friends, and everyone out there with their little business. I will manage it, and they would not lack any loss.
What text do you need to turn to an upper text? What text? January, right?
Supported by the Lagos State government and other stakeholders, the program is not only equipping boys with digital skills, but also giving them a competitive edge in today's job market.
Coming to PSSDC is a practical. We didn't come here to train. We came there to show them how they can work with Excel. When the internship starts, we're going to still continue to follow up.
Okay, B1. So go to B1. B1.
Is anyone struggling?
B1. And close the bracket and enter.
For these young boys, the journey is just beginning. From data analytics to social media and LinkedIn optimization, as well as learning leadership skills, the Techo Boys Bootcamp is planting seeds of possibility, ensuring the boy child is not left behind in the digital future.
Everybody shout Kings!
Kings! And finally on the program, did you know Equatorial Guinea is the only country in Africa where Spanish is the official language? The country was a Spanish colony until October 1968 when it gained independence under the decolonization of Africa process. Well, now you know. That's our program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.